Good afternoon. Is everybody having a great Gen Con? We're having an awesome Gen Con. So this is the 11th in-flight report. Many of you here have been here before. I see a lot of familiar faces. Welcome back. I am really humbled that you guys would take time out of your day to come listen to us talk about what we love to do. I remember from the very first one, it was a small hotel room, basically a small lobby hotel room way back in the middle of town, and we had about 10 people there. And now we have this. It's just phenomenal. Thank you. So here we are to talk about products from Fantasy Flight Games. If you don't know me, I'm Chris Petersen. I founded Fantasy Flight Games about 21 years ago, and I'm the CEO today. And we have some awesome guys up here to come help me with the presentation this time, and I'm going to introduce those guys later. What I'd like to do at the beginning of this presentation is talk a little bit about some big picture stuff before we get into actual products and communities and stuff. And so I want to take you through what's been happening here in the office and what we've been thinking about, what we're doing over the last year. So, what are new developments at FFG? So one thing, as you guys all may know, is we joined the Asmodee Group as part of a global group of gaming companies. And one of the really key things about that is we want to make sure that the studios that are part of that conglomerate have their own identity, their own creative freedom, and that the people there, that they get to make their own choices on games the way they always did. So what we did for FFG is that they actually moved into a whole new facility, brand spanking new, still stuff under construction there actually. They moved in about 3 months ago, sorry. And here's some pictures of it. This is the FFG office spaces focused on FFG style product development. And as you may have seen in the last couple of weeks, we've announced some amazing stuff that we've been working on for a very long time. And next year, I'll be talking about the stuff we're working on right now. And I think it's the best stuff we've ever done. So a couple things that we have done is that we really open up a new dedicated department inside FFG to focus on miniatures, because they're such a big part of our business now. Games like X-Wing, Armada, and a number of other products that we do are very important to us, and we want to make sure that we can control that process to avoid delays, to get the maximum quality that we can. So we open up a whole miniatures team for the design, development, planning for that. Whereas before, those games have been kind of moved along from development team to development team as they're becoming available. But we knew that these were important to us, and so we opened up that team just dedicated to those games and a few others. We expanded our sculpting team. The last couple of years, we really invested in a lot of technology and a lot of machines, and a lot of really high quality people that are helping us make some of the best, coolest looking game pieces that I've seen. And I think some of the results that are starting to come out from us, you can start seeing some of that. I'm very excited about what we're doing. We have moved almost exclusively to digital sculpting. Why do we do that? Well, because we actually think that some of the technologies that are coming through and some of the response time that we have for example, licensing requirements. If we have a Boba Fett helmet and we send it to Lucasfilm and they think it should be a little bit more round or a little bit more topped, then we can make that change right away rather than have several weeks worth of feedback on that. So one major thing that we've been dealing with for a while, an investment we made several years ago, is our belief that a certain category of games could really be exciting with apps. And I don't mean apps in the sense that they're standalone apps. These are apps that help us play the game in a new and different way. So obviously this is controversial to some people who don't think apps belong in their board games, which is fine. We believe that a certain category of board games could really be fun with this. But there wasn't really any precedent for how this worked. In some ways, when we think about technology in games, you think about, well, the first sand timer was a piece of technology, in a game. And now we have these ubiquitous devices in our pockets that can do things like being a sand timer or a coin flipper, but they can do so much more. They have memory, they have intelligence, and we can kind of guide games in a way that's never been done before. So we've been exploring that for quite a long time and really taking on investment in it. And some of the games you've seen us come out with, a game like XCOM was our first attempt at this. So pleased with how that's selling. We're so pleased with how that was received. Our next step into the field that you may have seen is our Road to Legend application. This is something where we decided to reinvent what we could do with our Descent game. A lot of people wanted Descent to be a collaborative experience. We said, hey, maybe we can make that happen. We got some ideas from we did some print-on-demand solo co-op adventures, and we sort of took that system and we sort of pushed it into an electronic form that we could do. It could be much more flexible. We could add a lot more monsters. We could take away the materials. We could save some trees, and it was hugely successful. So if anybody out is in here play Road to Legend, you played it? Awesome, guys. Thank you. We have always had a successful game in Descent. It's always been a great line for us, but sales have tripled on Descent since Road to Legend came out. So this shows how many people went in, replayed Descent, and have a whole new experience with it. We're just so thrilled with it. Then, of course, we just released the Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. So we actually surprised a lot of you guys with that, because normally we announce a product and it comes out quite a bit of time later. In this case, we came out with the next week. Now, why did we do that? You know, in part for us, honestly, was to show you guys what Road to Legend could do, because we didn't want anybody in confusion as to, you know, is that a cool game or not? Because when we come out with Mansions of Madness, it actually takes that whole app experience to a whole nother level. It is simply put one of the biggest projects we've ever undertaken. There's so much content in this app. We have some international licensors down here that's had to translate it, and they know how much content is in this. A whole novel worth of information in terms of content, dialogue trees, et cetera, in this. And we're really, really proud of how that came out. So we are announcing it now to sort of surprise all you guys and to have to allow Road to Legend to kind of live a little bit before we confuse the marketplace with another game, such as Mansions. So there are, of course, many more to come. We're working on it right now. One of the most common questions I've gotten over the last 3 months is, I really like Road to Legend. I really like it. How about this guy? Today I'm going to announce to you guys that we're working on it. Okay? Stop asking. We're excited, we're really excited to see that. You can look for, hopefully, something in this direction in the future. I would say next year sometime, guys. All right, app integration, really important to us. Does this mean all of our games are gonna have apps? Absolutely not. Does it mean a certain category of them will? We think it's worthwhile and fun and amazing? Yes, a certain category of our games will have apps. And I think the results of XCOM, of Road to Legend, and now Mansions of Madness, which we love the response that we've seen, shows that it's a really viable format to make some games in. So another thing that we did this year is that we took a more serious approach to some of our own IPs. One of the favorite IPs that we have in the office is our Android world that we've developed ever since that we had the Android board game that we published about, I'd say, 8 years ago. And of course, we put that into our Netrunner product, and we just didn't realize how many people were so into this setting. But we started realizing that when we put out our Worlds of Android art book. Why did we do this book? Really, we did it for ourselves. We said we have this great IP, we have all this content, they're scattered all over cards and games and notes and wiki entries all over the place. And we have staff that are coming in, and if they want to make a cool game in the Android universe, they don't have a central place to learn and understand the world. So we wanted to make a Bible or kind of a presentation book for ourselves. And then somebody said, well, maybe if we make it even a little bit nicer, put a little bit of investment into it, maybe a few of the fans would like it too. We said, okay, why not? Let's do it. And so there was a lot of effort. It's one of the longest production times we have for a product, just to get all that artwork, all that development in there. And the response was huge. We had no idea that so many fans would want this book. And so thanks, really appreciate it. And we sold out right away. We thought we'd have a 3-year supply, and it sold out in 2 weeks. So what this has told us is that you guys like to hear more about those worlds and have all those notes and input that we ourselves need in the building. So we are now hard at work on some other books very similar to this and some of our other popular in-house IPs. And they are for us, but if you want to share them, thank you, and we'll make those books available to you as well. This was a big announcement we just made. So L5R to me is as old as my participation in this industry. My first Gen Con 21 years ago, the first thing I saw were these giant booths, these black banners with all the L5R activity that was surrounding it back then in 1996. And I thought, man, that's awesome. I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this industry because it was so great. And so now we had the chance to work with the AEG folks, and we actually had the option to go in and acquire this property and to try to contribute to this. It's really an honor. It's really something that's special to us. And as somebody who's been involved in the L5R property probably longer and more deeper than anyone else I know, is our own Chief Marketing Officer, Steve Horvath. And so I'm going to let Steve come up and talk a little bit about L5R.
Thanks, Chris. I'm really excited to be here today. This is my 20th Gen Con. And my very first Gen Con back in 1997, I made my way from Sacramento, California to Milwaukee to play in the Legend of the Five Rings Day of Thunder Gen Con Championship, where I finished in the top 4. I went on to be the brand manager of the game for a year at Wizards of the Coast, and have been involved in one way or another pretty much ever since. So when we had this opportunity, it was very, very special to me. It was also very special to a lot of other people in our office. And I'm very excited to say we're deep in development. We don't have anything to show today, but we're working on it very hard, and there's some very passionate fans working on it. And we can't wait to show it to you next year at Gen Con 2017 to unveil. We're already working on the launch ceremony and all the kind of cool stuff we're gonna do. And the design team is really excited. And our goal is to introduce this game and recruit a whole new generation of samurai to Rokugan. So just stay tuned for some more announcements about this. We have a lot more plans in store for this IP. We're just getting started, all right? And it's gonna have organized play from when it launches at Gen Con all the way through. It's gonna pick up very seamlessly in that regard. We're gonna really, really support it. And I just want to take a minute to talk about organized play a little bit, and thank you guys for all of your support in that regard. Way back in 2013, we kind of started out on this, and you see every year pretty massive growth. And this year we expect to get to nearly 50,000 events worldwide. So thank you very much. It's pretty amazing. So I want to talk about the World Championships a little bit. Those have continued to grow and grow and grow. And earlier this year, we made an announcement that we're starting in 2017. We're splitting them into 2. We have a track for all of our Star Wars games, including Destiny coming out as well. And that will be in early May. Then in that same November time slot that we're all familiar with, will be the non-Star Wars games, including the newest member of our family, Legend of the Five Rings, which will be in November. We'll have a lot more coming on that soon. And I wanted to take a second to talk about the X-Wing Open Series. It's something that we tried new this year. We ran 8 events around the world. We had over 1,500 players participate, and it accumulated at Star Wars Celebration in England. And I'm very, very excited to tell you that we're going to do it again in 2017. We don't have the venues or the dates yet, but we'll have them announced very, very soon. There's going to be at least 4 in the US this time as well. I know that was a big deal this last time, but it's going to be across the whole country this time. So we're very excited. Stay tuned for that.